Have you ever received any backlash for a video?
Not for a video, I don't think. I received backlash from a certain video we were talking about before this, just from the audience of people, but never backlash, I think, from my own audience.
The bird video?
No, the off camera, the Instagram one. That was just like getting like a bunch of trolls on my stuff. But I don't know. I haven't really had like a huge backlash thing because I think what my stuff is like friendly, you know?
Sure, yeah.
Where it's not family friendly in any way, but it's friendlier where for the most part I'm not trying to like make people feel bad. I haven't really had, I don't think, a big backlash thing.
Do you how do you feel about being called a YouTuber?
It's okay. I don't mind when we're around YouTubers, totally fine. But like when like a family member asks what I do or like a complete stranger, I feel like you always have to go like, not like Logan Paul though. That's like the phrase you have to say, like not like the Paul brothers.
Sure.
But it's so unfair because it's such a broad term. Because you can be a welder and be a YouTuber, you know.
That's true. Yeah.
So it's just like it's a broad term for like I do what I do and it's on YouTube.
It's at this place.
But I love the platform. I really like. I'm proud. I grew up watching YouTube. I've always wanted to do it. So it's like I like being called a YouTuber, but certain times you have to give like a disclaimer for those people. I feel like.
I don't know how I fully feel about it. I remember when Casey Neistat was on his daily grind and he made his I'm a YouTuber video. There was this moment where I would call myself that. I'd also add other descriptors.
Yeah.
But it was this moment where I felt even more proud because it was right because obviously everything's different, but you had this top tier content and that's what everyone thought of. Do you feel like when people maybe outside of your age group think of YouTube, they think of Jake Paul?
I think it kind of just depends on how much people are involved because I think with demographics it's so weird now. Like my uncle who's retired now started watching my videos and like loves them now, and then everyone else in my family that's around his age has no idea what's going on for it. So it's weird because like even I have an older sister and she doesn't really watch YouTube, but one of her friends does all the time and watches people that we watch. So it's weird where it's with a demographic thing. I don't know how to gauge it ever because then I feel like I'm insulting the person, you know, if you start explaining. But I think if this were 2017, Jake and Logan are like the YouTubers.
Sure.
And now I think with every year that goes by, it's more and more legitimate.
Sure.
I think especially because people's kids who are now teenagers are also watching it all the time.
Sure. I mean, the age change is huge. I mean, we get so many of our deals from people that were going to college when I was first starting, and now they're in positions. And the change is interesting. Out of the bad actors of YouTube,
Okay.
who do you think is the greatest offender?
I mean, he's more self-aware now, but I think it's Logan.
Really?
Just because I am somebody who I don't think you can always condemn somebody for one thing. I do think they can change and grow.
Sure.
But it was before the whole scandal with him, obviously, with the forest. It's just the way him and Jake sell to children. I hate it so much. Like a lot of my first videos when I was growing was about people advertising to children and not telling them. And when Nerd City made that video examining how much of Jake's videos are selling, love Nerd City, by the way. He like it's so disgusting to me, to be honest. That it's just, they pretend to be there for these kids, and it's just a full advertisement to them.
Which one do you think is worse?
I definitely think that Jake is dumb and Logan isn't. I think Jake just genuinely, you know, like when Jake talks, it's fully just like, so yeah, I was making a video and I now realized that it was wrong because it was wrong. And like, that's the way he talks. So I don't know. It's weird though. I can't tell if he's pretending, because another Nerd City video, you know, is he did the Shane documentary and he was pretending to play dumb, but then also spoke at a conference about selling to kids. He's like, I'm not manipulating kids. And then was on a podium like, here's how you manipulate children for money. But yeah, I don't know. Jake makes more mistakes that are like, what were you thinking, dude? But Logan, I don't know. It's just he with the sociopath stuff that he's talked about, like the sociopathic tendencies and everything, it's like I just don't trust the guy. And especially that story that Ethan told on the podcast of like him kind of threatening him at a party a little bit.
Oh, I forgot that was a thing.
Yeah. So all that kind of goes into one, and then he's like, "Oh, I put out a parody flat Earth documentary." It's like, cool. I didn't forget about everything else though.
Yeah, I before the Suicide Forest situation, I definitely one, I was fascinated by them, just like the whole back and forth music video thing.
Yeah,
Return of the Pauls. I was just like, this is, for me, and it's because I care about I really appreciate the business side of it. I was just thinking, this is genius
for kids. Yeah, especially
this
genius.
is amazing. I've always thought Jake Paul is the worst. I thought before the Suicide Forest, and I think I've talked about it on podcasts. I was actually a fan of Logan Paul. I find his content really, really solid. You're gonna think worse of me.
No. I have even seen some of his vlogs, and there's more of an appeal, I think, to like older people than there are for Jake's.
I think that he's also thinking now, redemption tour done, thinking about older audience, and I think you see that in his podcast. And he's interesting to me. I do not trust him. He's reached out to me several times he reached out to be a part of the Flat Earth thing. I feel comfortable saying that because he talked about it on his podcast. He also reached out to me around the Challenger games, and I just there's something that I'm still concerned. I'll still watch as an outside person, because I'm fascinated by what the next 5 years are going to be for him.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I don't put them, even if I don't put them in the same camps.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm going to get shit for that. Anytime I say something that's not completely negative about Logan Paul.
My big thing with Logan then is he will tweet something or make a joke about something that's more self-aware recently. And I'm like, that I almost liked you for a second, and that makes me not trust him even more. But okay, because he knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing, is that there is no doubt that he is smart. There's no doubt that he's surrounded himself with people that are guiding him.
Yeah.
And so there's almost a part of it where that I think that puts it really well. You're like, I like that.
Yeah.
Is that legit, or are you knowing that people are going to react like this? Am I being manipulated right now?
Exactly. I was having a discussion about Logan's account with my brother, and he said something that was like, I was really smart for it. If he was saying, because it was right after OJ came back to Twitter, and he was saying like,
I hate that. That's a fucking
I know, that or not real. Back, but he was saying if OJ started memeing the things that happened before, he would gather an audience of people that would think it's hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
And there's nothing you can really do about it if he was making memes. So he's like, if OJ starts making jokes, you can meme your way out of murder, possibly. Like, not in court, but with the public perception. If he started making jokes about it, a lot of people would be like, that's pretty funny. They would, even though they'd be horrified.
I wonder what the public reaction would. I mean, I know that I can think of a number of people that would be like, yes.
Yeah. Every time he says, "Hey, Twitter world," I lose a year off my life. It's like, I can't understand. Anytime it's just, "Hey, Twitter world," it's like, what? It's OJ still. Like, people are retweeting this.
It's very interesting that we live in a year where you can see a headline where it's like, OJ Simpson comments on Democratic debate, and you're like, what? No.
And the thing he said was like, oh, it's everyone's duty to pay attention to this. And it's like, you're right, but you're also OJ, so I can't deal with this.